one of the most serious challenges our countries face is the specter of socialism. It's the wrecker of nations and destroyer of societies. Events in Venezuela remind us all that socialism and communism are not about justice. They are not about equality. They are not about lifting up the poor. And they are certainly not about the good of the nation. Socialism and communism are about one thing only: power for the ruling class. Today I repeat a message for the world that I have delivered at home. America will never be a socialist country. In the last century, socialism and communism killed 100 million people.
That was President Trump addressing the globalist tyrannical dictators there at the United Nations General Assembly. And in that speech, he sent a warning, not only to all the ears listening at the UN, but a warning to you, the American people, that socialism and communism isn't about helping the poor, and it isn't about social justice, and it isn't about equality, but that socialism and communism is 100% about power, giving power to the ruling class and having all under their submissive authority. And he made it very clear in that speech. And as he said, socialism wrecks and tears up nations. It does not build them up. In fact, as President Trump said, 100 million and even more than that have died as a result of these communist and socialist regimes. Take a look at this article here online. Now, this is a chart published by R.J. Rummel, and it is a picture of all the death by government tyrannical regimes. And you can see there about 202 million people have been killed by government over the years, and mainly by your communist and socialists. That includes 61 million during the Soviet Gulag, 35 million in China, 21 million in the Nazi regime, and the list goes on and on and on. You want to know something? You want to know who the biggest murderer of all time is? It's not cancer. It's not car accidents. It's not world wars. No. It is tyrannical, dictating government regimes, seizing control over their population and murdering people by the millions. Murdering more than any world wars that we've had when you look at all the historical numbers and figures. This is why President Trump has issued such a stark warning against communism and socialism to the United Nations and to the American people. He says, do not go there. And he says it for a reason. And you want to know something else? It's happening right now in China to our brothers and sisters overseas. Christians, Falun Gong, and even Uyghur Muslims are all being rounded up and put in these re-education centers. But you see, no film crew is allowed into these centers to see what they're actually doing. But footage has recently leaked showing that in China, they're basically shackling and blindfolding and cutting all the hair off of their prisoners. Take a look at this article on foxnews.com. Hundreds of shackled, blindfolded prisoners in China purportedly seen in online videos. I would show you the video here, but it is just it just makes my stomach turn, and I can't. Unfortunately, mainstream media is allowed to share it on their channels on YouTube, but nobody else is. So I'm going to link it in the description box below, and I ask you to check it out if you can handle that kind of thing. It's in the description box below. Please watch it, because I think it's important to see what's really happening. Because here's the thing. Well, it does not show any executions of anyone, which we don't see the end result. We just see them shackled, blindfolded, and all their hair cut off, and they're being led like lambs to the slaughter to nobody knows where. This sounds eerily similar to something that already happened in China. Take a look at this article on LosAngelesTimes.com. Now, this is from a long time ago, 1980 something, but execution in China exceeded 10,000 in firm crackdown against crime. Keep in mind, this was over 20 some odd years ago, but I want you to hone in on this section. And it says, a bullet in the back of the head has long been the method of execution in China. The condemned prisoner is blindfolded and forced to kneel with the executioner standing behind him with a pistol. They're blindfolded and forced to stand and be walked in a line and led like lambs to the slaughter. Hey, this is exactly what the video footage shows is happening to our brothers and sisters in China. So I purport, are these people being walked away and led to their execution? I believe it's a huge probability. Why else would the Chinese government hide and keep the information from the public? They're putting all these innocent people, including political dissidents, journalists, into these camps, and many are never, ever heard from again. Yet, not one word from mainstream media about it until this footage came out. Not one word. And I've said it on my channel for quite some time, what these people are doing. But the truth is, your AOCs, your Rashid Tlaibs, your Ilhan Omar, your Bernie Sanders, and all these people, your Clintons and Pelosi's, are all trying to bring this socialism, communist system to America. So much so that they're working on the education, brainwashing our children, bringing people to the United Nations, such as your 16-year-old girl, Greta, telling the world, obviously what she was said is scripted, but talking to the world saying, how dare you parents? They are brainwashing our youth and using all of this against us in order to bring in their communist regime. And it's not just our politicians. They're doing it jointly with mainstream media and social media, and even the state of California has signed on with China. Take a look at this article here, apnews.com. California, China to team up on Climate Research Institute. Also social media, Bloomberg.com. The trade war didn't stop a Google and Huawei AI collaboration. Intercept.com. Google employees uncover ongoing work on censored chain search. Why is Google teaming up with China and helping them censor their people? I think they're doing a version of that here as well in America. Why is the state of California doing anything with China? Why is anyone doing anything with China when they're murdering their people and sending them to re-education camps? Isn't that similar to something that happened, I don't know, Stalin, Hitler kind of days? Why don't we hear enough about it? Because they don't want you to know. They want to bring a similar system here. Why do we allow the Chinese government to own part of our schools and own part of our education system and own part of Hollywood and our land? This is why President Trump has sounded the alarm. And you know what? Now they've taken it a step further and are trying to restrict our access, from telling you any of this information. Take a look what President Trump also said at the UN meeting.
A small number of social media platforms are acquiring immense power over what we can see and over what we are allowed to say. A permanent political class is openly disdainful, dismissive and defiant of the will of the people. A faceless bureaucracy operates in secret and weakens democratic rule. Media and academic institutions push flat-out assaults on our histories, traditions, and values. In the United States, my administration has made clear to social media companies that we will uphold the right of free speech. A free society cannot allow social media giants to silence the voices of the people, and a free people must never, ever be enlisted in the cause of silencing, coercing, canceling, or blacklisting their own neighbors.
He's telling the truth. I live it every day on my channel. I literally see numbers going good and then boom, they hit the restrict button and don't allow it to go viral because they consider it a conspiracy theory video. They've dubbed my whole channel a conspiracy theory, though they're not even supposed to do that. Yet I've looked at the numbers and seen that that's exactly what's happening on my channel and multiple others, which is why I tell you to please subscribe to lisahaven.news so you can follow me there at my backup channel and here. But they're suppressing us, and the mainstream media has control over you, and they're feeding you what they think you should hear, what they think you should say, what they think you should do. They don't think that the American people are man enough to disseminate their own information. Yes, we are. We don't need someone telling us what we can and can't hear, what we can and can't see, what we can and can't say. And this is exactly what's happening on Google, on Facebook, on Twitter. Facebook's owned by the CIA. By the way, this is why they're trying to buy up so many companies. They're deep state ran. And I believe Google is a part of that also. Step one that happened in China is they silenced people. These are the same steps happening in America. Please wake up. Anyhow, I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns. I know I'm a little more serious today, but I love you guys. I just have a heart for what's happening to the people in China, the Muslims, the Christians, the Falun Gong. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what political side of the fence you land on. There's political dissidents in there. They shouldn't be being rounded up and murdered. And the mainstream media says nothing. Nobody wants to admit that it's a possibility that they're being murdered. But I think the video footage rings eerily similar to what happened during Mao Zedong. Same kind of setup. Nobody knows 100% for sure, right? They probably know a little more than they let on. Anyhow, I love you guys. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.